Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Nick. This is MSFS Flight Plans, and in case it wasn't glaringly obvious, all we do is awesome around here as we attempt to save the entire human race one amazing flight at a time. So as I was scrolling through my phone and fighting insomnia last night, which is what I do pretty much every night, I discovered Parallel 42 has just released another bush trip scene. This one is out in Wyoming. Actually, I don't know how long it's been out. I think it said it was just released, but I just noticed it for the first time last night. At any rate, as soon as I saw that, my wallet jumped off the dresser, ran across the room, and actually tried to crawl into my computer. That's how desperate it was to buy the thing. So I did, along with another ranch scene 25 miles to the south, which is where we are now, neither of which I have seen prior to this very moment, so we'll be enjoying these together. And I should also note, just to be safe, that I have never had any affiliation with Parallel 42. They've paid me nothing and given me nothing, nor have they ever asked me to plug them. I just think they do a really great job with pretty much everything they put out, so I don't mind paying for stuff sight unseen because I'm not disappointed with anything I've gotten so far. And finally, what flight on our channel would be complete without a guided tour of all the local sights and scenery along the way, so stay tuned for all that and more as we cruise along out here. So before we get going, we'll take a tour of this place we're at right now, the Circle B Ranch. Let's just see where in the world we are. So there's North America, United States, Wyoming, the big square over here, Idaho. We're almost in Idaho. This is where we are right now. Salt Lake City, not too far to the south. And we're going to be leaving from... Now, this place you can select in the sim even if you don't have the add-on. Not the case with the other one. So if you want to fly out of here and just check everything out without the add-on, you can do it. But why do that if you could have the add-on? So we're going to come out here, check out Cokeville, because there's a bit of interesting history about that. I figured there wouldn't be much to talk about it here, but there certainly is about that place. And then if I hadn't read the description of this in Parallel 42's site, I wouldn't know that there is a ski resort out here, Pine Creek Ski Resort. And I'm hoping we'll have some chairlifts, because we do have our Mamu Designs chairlift pack installed, so we'll check that out. And then we're going to cruise along Smith's Fork, which is this little river down here, winding its way through all this for about 25 miles to the north. And then we'll come in and check out Widow's Peak, which actually does have bigger runways than that, I think. I saw the thumbnails. They seem to be... It looks like they're crisscrossing here. So we'll check those out. And in the sim, it says there's a helipad maybe somewhere in this vicinity down here, which you can't see in a little nav map. And also this place has a helipad, which is just to the northwest, so maybe somewhere over here. So we'll see if we can spot that stuff from the air. But you know what? I'm not seeing our plane in here, which means it's probably not going to track it in real time, which means I'll have to just look at our Garmin inside the plane, which is fine. All right, let's just park that where that goes, and then we'll hop out here and cruise around the drone. Well, for one thing, we got some animated chickens, which is great, and I just heard an eagle screeching. Very cool. And of course, I had to pick the Kitfox with the Parallel 42 livery. Just as a hats off to those guys. I'm ready to be impressed. If you haven't seen our bush trip review of those places in California, we reviewed 8 of them, also by Parallel 42. That was a cool trip. Well, looks like someone's partying again out here. That's a common theme with these guys. That looks pretty fresh, too. Man, you couldn't have gotten the trash can? It's right there. That's a sign of a long night right there. I'm surprised those chickens are even still alive. Okay, so let's see what all we got. Let's jump up a little bit here. One thing they said is that these sprinklers are animated, which would be incredible. One, because there's never sprinklers on these things in the sim, and two, they're definitely not animated. Let's pick up the pace here a little bit, because we're going really slow. That's more like it. Well, you can see the water coming out of them. And look, there's one over there, too. If that thing's actually moving, too, that would be just mind-blowing to me. It is. That is amazing. That is so awesome. Wow, really, really cool. Nice work. They said that there's also a gun range out here and someone with a radio playing. And they said during the wintertime, I think they said that there's some animations up at that ski resort, which should be right over the top of that barn over there, so we'll fly over there and check that out. Okay, some cattle pens. What do we got down here? That looks like a shooting range. Please tell me that's a burned out car. Oh, it is. Yeah, you got to have one of those at a shooting range. Yep, that's the kind of thing you fire your anti-tank rounds at. Look at that. Awesome. And a pile of tires to burn in case you need to send up some smoke signals. A little bit of gravel, because you can never have too much gravel at a place like this. All right, so we got an archery range with an arrow stuck in it. And these are probably shooting targets. Yep, with bullet holes in them. Amazing. I hope I can say the B word without YouTube banning me. And, oh, we got someone shooting. Oh, let's go up the stairs. Let's do this properly. Are you animated? You gonna shoot something? No? Just gonna stay in there? Let's go. Oh. Nice shot. Not a lot of power, but nice shot. What is that? Oh, come on. Come on. Well, look at that. She might be doing one of those medieval torture cosplay things. Wow. All right, well, let's just back off. Let's fade out a little bit. Well, good for you, girl. That's how she keeps all those drunk jerks away from her at night. Oh, they got a juice goose out here. Cool. Very cool. We got a barn out here, and since they animated the sprinklers all the way over there, they probably did that too. What do we have? A saddle bronc rider up there. Nice touch. Very nice touch. Now, what's cool about this is, you know, if you have a hangar that's just open on one side, you got to either back into it or back out of it. You could actually drive all the way around that side and come right through this crash gate right here to take off. That's great. That might be a little bit narrow, though. You could probably get a bush plane in there, I would think. Or that little thing. Oh, yeah, you could definitely get that thing in there. That's nice. That's real nice. The one reason I usually don't go into hangars is it's too hard to get in and out, because when I use my backup toolbar, it always throws off my GPS thing. So that's cool. I should have driven down here and parked in that. Well, I will next time. A lot of static elements. There should be a lot of animated stuff, which I'm hoping doesn't impact our performance, because sometimes that'll tear it up. But none of this is photogrammetry, although you can tell it definitely looks good. And I couldn't tell how hilly this was from the satellite map, but that looks like some good terrain. Hopefully it all looks good. All right, there's a big bin full of trash, generator, leveling machine, whatever that thing's called, the knockoff U-Haul, J-Move. Great. Oh, I wish I could say what that. I bet that's funny, whatever it says. You've got... Oh, you've got S-word to move, just in case any kids are watching this. Move it yourself. Awesome. Great. That's great. Wonderful. They should take that thing out to the shooting range. Another generator. And a military truck of some kind. Yep, these guys are survivalists out here. You know they got a militia out here. And a street sweeper. I think this is a dirt strip out here. Yeah, that's a strip right there. And it's dirt. So that's great. Just kick up some dust. Yeah, another street sweeper. Awesome. And another knockoff U-Haul. That's hilarious. Very good job. Oh, that's like an industrial generator here. Yeah, these guys are planning for the end of the world. Well, that's what you do out here. Oh, I hear the radio. You hear it? Warmer. Warmer. Any radios in here? Nope, he must be in one of these other barns. Well, that's interesting. Now look at that trash bag. I have never seen one that looked... Well, I've never seen one in the sim period, but it's actually kind of translucent. You can see through it. Amazing. Amazing. I mean, just someone took the time to make that. That's someone who loves their work. That's just great. All right, here's a big hangar. You could put something big in here, but you'd have to back in or back out of it. And they got their license plate collection, some more trash bags. All of this is really, really detailed. Let's see how detailed these license plates are. Are they like the cans at the bush plane campout? Remember, you could read the labels on the cans? Some of them are. Like that Georgia one there, that's really detailed. Some of the ones in the center don't look quite as detailed, but you can definitely read them all. And there's one from South Carolina, the Palmetto State. All right, we got to see what's going on with that radio. Anything hiding up in these nooks and crannies? Nope. What do we got here? Some bridles and stuff. Very good. Some bits. Now, if you remember at Hogsback Ranch from that other one, we could hear the horses but couldn't see them. We can definitely see the horses here. It doesn't sound like they're making any noise. That guy's ready to go riding. He's got all his stuff on. Well, I got to tell you, I don't know if you remember, let's see, the place we landed at on that last trip, there's a dude that was raving by the campfire. And you could hear the music, but it was not at the fidelity of this thing. Listen how good that sounds. I mean, it sounds like I'm listening to Spotify or something. Awesome. All right, that guy's getting ready to saddle up. Can we go in the saddle shop? Nope. Yeah, I just put this on the top of it. I don't know why I'm liking it, but that radio being that clear is cool. All right, we got some cattle out here. Oh, we got someone trying to do some calf roping. Throw it, man. Throw it. He's waiting for him to wear out and stop running. Throw it. Oh, he's just practicing his lassoing. That's fine. Well, we'll have to see if we can spot him running around from the air. Okay, I think that covers pretty much everything out here. Let's just do a quick survey. Surely they didn't do that stuff way out there. Well, if they did, you'll have to check that on your own. Okay, so this one's $12, and the other one was $10. And I think for $12, this is a steal. Another street sweeper. What are they sweeping out here? That's great. Probably horse crap. That's great. So if you think about what you'd pay for your typical airport in the sim, $12 for all this stuff? Yeah. And $10 for the other one. That is just, that's insane. Okay, let's climb in this bad boy. Get her fired up and get moving. All right, Chet's twin, get out of there. I'm climbing in. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Fuel's already on. Let's shut our door. And get the battery on. Avionics, lane A, lane B, fuel pump, start power. Give the throttle a little crack. And hopefully this thing's going to work, because again, little NavMap is not tracking this in real time, so that's not going to be very helpful. Let's check our baro. Yeah, we're on the money, 6,500 feet. We are up there pretty good. All right, let's start her up. Let me step on the brakes. Please work. Now we're started. And we turn that guy off. We'll give that thing a second to kind of run itself up. Parking brake off. And let's see if I can actually get this up in the air. I have never taken off with the Kitfox where it looked any good whatsoever. And this is the one with a powerful engine too, so we're going to have to drop the throttle to about 50% as soon as we get in the air, or we will wreck from ripping the wings off. Look how detailed that stuff is. That is just great. So if I didn't mention it before, you can also get this on Orbix's site. I got them both from Parallel 42 site because it was a couple bucks cheaper. I'll link both of those in the video description along with this exact flight plan if you decide you want to take it like we are. I can't tell you how good it's going to be or not because I haven't flown it yet. I just kind of drew it near the things I wanted to see. So we'll see how that goes. What I'll do actually afterwards is I'll just retrace it with our flight plan that we actually fly if it's good, and then I'll upload that one. If not, I'll just upload this one. That'll get you in the vicinity of everything and at least get you to that other airport. One notch of flaps. Check that barrel one more time just because I can't resist. Landing lights on. And here we go, Chet. Hold on to your barf bag. This is not going to be pretty, I'm sure. We're moving. So the wind is only 2 knots here. I thought it would be a lot breezier way out here, but does not appear to be the case. Oh boy. Oh boy. Just stay on the runway. Close to it anyway. Alright, we're up. God. See you later, sprinklers. That is cool. I like that a lot. Really nice touch. Flaps up. And we'll kill the landing lights. We're off. Yeah, this scenery looks really good out here. Really good. So first we're going to fly about 3 miles to the east here to check out the town of Cokeville, which is just another 3 miles from the border with Idaho, because I just can't miss the chance to see a town as little as this place appears to be. Won't be photogrammetry, but we'll see how it looks out here in the middle of nowhere. In fact, as of the 2020 census, they had a population of 502 people out here, which is not a lot. Pulling that throttle back. The first white settler was a guy named, this was Shoshone land way back in the day, but the first white guy to arrive out here was named Tilford Kutch, who arrived in 1869 and set up a trading post 4 years later. And as a bit of a side hustle, he was also running a ferry across this tiny little creek here called Smith's Fork, which looks like you could probably jump across it if you got a running start. Look at how nice that terrain looks. There's a little bit of edging here. Not too bad, though. Really not too bad at all. We'll see how this town looks. And then the railroad introduced a handful of sheep ranchers in the last decades of the 19th century, and then Cokeville here started calling itself the sheep capital of the world, which might have been a bit of a stretch. Look at it, that's the whole town right there. But they do have a lot of land out here. And a little radio mast on top of that hill, so they can broadcast their 1 AM station. That's probably what that guy was listening to. No, that was too high fidelity for AM. But unfortunately, this tiny little town is most well known for a horrific event that occurred out here in May of 1986, when the lunatic town marshal David Young and his wife Doris decided to take the entire elementary school hostage for reasons that were so crazy no one's really been able to figure out what he was trying to do it for. They showed up with a gasoline bomb in a grocery cart, and the detonator was attached to David's wrist. And at some point, he decided to transfer the device to his wife's wrist, who apparently wasn't great at following directions because she accidentally set the thing off. And hearing the blast, David returned to the scene and put his wife down and then put himself down, becoming the only 2 fatalities in the whole affair, though nearly 80 more were hospitalized for burns and other injuries. So I guess the good news is everyone but the whack job survived. The bad news is that this wonderful little town has had to deal with the trauma of that for the last 40 years. Boy, that is really detailed for an autogen town. Look at that. You can see all the little piles of garbage and stuff down there. What is up with that? It's so detailed. Yes, the buildings are obviously autogen. I think it's the high school right there. And then that little thing right there with a track is the elementary school, I think. How many kids do you have in your high school when you got 500 people in the whole town? No sprinklers on these fields, but man, does that look good. Wow. Very neat. The river banks look a little bit fuzzy, but I'll take that for that kind of detail in that town. Look at all this stuff here. Look at these little bits of garbage and junk piled up in the lawns. Really neat. Cool. Okay, so we'll fly back by and do a low pass of the old Circle B, and believe it or not, place we left from actually had a wiki page. So I got to learn a little bit about it, and I'll fill you in on all that as we head back over for a flyby before turning north after we check out the ski resort, see if we can see any chairlifts over there. Also known as the R.L. Miller Ranch. It has been wrangling cattle for at least 100 years after being homesteaded by a guy named Otto Leifer around 1880, who was not a lifer because he sold the land to James Mickelson in 1895. And that guy really built it up as one of the biggest ranches in the region, boasting 20,000 acres and over 6,000 head of cattle. And other than Parallel 42 modding it out for us, the coolest real-life thing about this place, in my opinion, is that a lot of the original structures are still standing. They got a farmhouse from 1905, and they even added the whole ranch to the National Register of Historic Places in 1987, which is definitely cool. We'll do a nice low flyby. I am just blown away by the sprinkler thing. That is just great. Think of how many, when you're flying over flyover country in North America, these fields are everywhere. Never once have I seen sprinklers, even ones that aren't animated. But I guess we're usually too high to see that kind of stuff. But that is neat. That is a really cool touch. So the ski resort, let's see, I'm just trying to kind of VFR fly this. This road here goes up to the ski resort, so it's going to be somewhere up here. We'll just zip around and see if we can see anything. And unfortunately, the only thing I could uncover about that place was a Facebook page with very limited information. But it sounds like their big draw is not drawing very many people at all. All their avatar said was seek uncrowded runs, and I think they're living up to that billing because I only saw one skier in all of their pictures and videos. So again, Parallel 42 did say that something about this was animated if you come out here in the wintertime. Or maybe they just built a little ski scene. I don't know. We're not going to switch the weather right now. But if you decide to spend the $12 to check this out, maybe fly out here in the winter, see what's going on. Well, I'm not seeing anything that looks like ski runs, but we'll go all the way over there and see what it looks like. That's another thing that Parallel 42 does pretty well, is they always find landscapes that look pretty good on their own. I've seen some other areas that were really nicely modded up, but the surrounding terrain was abysmal. This is pretty good, really good. And now they're teamed up with Jepson. I bet we're going to see some really nice looking rocks and cliffs, and maybe even a waterfall. The place we're heading into, Windows Peak, said they got a waterfall. I saw in the picture, so we'll see if we can spot that. It wasn't real big, but it looked cool. And of course, lots and lots of rocks. Okay, well, look at this. This looks like the top of a chairlift right here. That may be it. But can you imagine coming out here if you're the only person skiing? How great would that be? Because that's the worst part of all ski resorts, is running into people and waiting in lines. Even if it's only a handful of slopes. Yeah, that is the top of a chairlift. And it looks like it's probably running down the top of that ridge over there, so we'll circle around and see if we can see any chairs running. If they put that thing up there, I bet they put the chairs in too. So I'm wondering if Parallel 42 out of that, if it's going to conflict with the Mamu Designs mod that puts that thing up there. It doesn't look like it. And we're really not getting any frame rate issues. This is great. Oh yeah, see the wire coming down there? Yep. Oh yeah, look at that. Awesome. Totally cool. Oh, okay, the slopes are on this side of it over here. They're one slope. That's awesome. Really cool. Imagine if you had a whole resort to yourself. That'd be amazing. Oh, and there we go. Look at those. See that canyon there? With the road running up to the place. Looks kind of yellowish, but you can see the rocks have been modded up as well. Very nice. This is a lot of stuff for a $12 add-on. I gotta tell you guys, as you know, I have a lot of add-ons, and I've paid a heck of a lot more for a heck of a lot less than this. And it looks cool, and with Parallel 42, it's always fun, which reminds me, I never got my Parallel 42 hat. I need to put that on my Christmas list. Don't even think about sending me one Parallel 42. I don't want any bias whatsoever. Gotta keep it real. I might just knit myself one. If you guys ever saw our Alderney and Channel Islands flight, I got into knitting for a little while. Don't laugh, I got 4 daughters. You can imagine how cool I was knitting my own hats and scarves and stuff for all the kids. That was very cool. Alright, we're going to come down real low by this thing and see if we can see our calf roper over here. I bet we can. And then we'll head on over to Smith's Fork and head north. So he was in that darker yellow field right there, the one right in front of us. Keep pulling that throttle back. Try to keep the wings on. Can we see him down there? We're probably too high. Where are you? Maybe finally bag that thing. Oh, there he is. You can see him. There he is. Still riding around. That is great. Oh, just so great. Okay, let's pick it up a little bit. So just to keep it real easy, if you just want to totally VFR fly this, I think that this river, based on the satellite maps, will get you almost all the way up there. It looks like it dead ends into a mountain range before you totally get up there, so you might want to have something mapped out ahead of time. Because I don't think we'd be able to find it unless it's just really sticking out like a sore thumb without the GPS over there. So Smith's Fork didn't have a lot of information about it, just a tiny, tiny little thing, but it looks like it's a big fly fishing destination. I couldn't find any pages specifically talking about the creek or river or whatever it is, fork, but lots of stuff about fly fishing. So if you're into that, throw your rods in the back if you're coming up here. And then this elevated over here to the left of that is called the Raymond Mountain Wilderness Study Area, and I couldn't find anything about that either other than the name. And off to the right, there were some mountains that had a bookmark on them, and there's a little lake up there somewhere, which I don't think we're going to be able to see. It's probably too far away, and it's going to be behind those mountains. But what I thought was kind of interesting, and we'll see if it's modeled in the sim, they've got probably like one house every mile going north along this thing. But despite the incredibly low population, and there's one of them right there, that looks like a single wide, they got little bridges they built all over this thing. So I don't know if the homeowners did that or what. We'll see if we can see any of them out here. We need to trim down just a little bit, because I don't want to keep going up. I don't know how high we are above the ground. I would say 1,000, 1,500 feet maybe. Okay, so this should be about a 20-mile hike to the north before we start looking for Widow's Peak. So I'll just see what comes to mind as we're cruising along, checking out this landscape. River doesn't look too bad. Probably looks better than it did back in Cokeville, actually. And you can see the relief in the fields, the little roads carved through there. That looks nice. Very good job selecting this area. There's one of the bridges, see it? And that looks like a pretty big complex over there. They got some barns and everything, some outbuildings. So I'm sure you guys have probably seen by now the alpha test flight videos from 2024, and I read somewhere that there was like a waiting list or something, you had to sign up for it, but I was watching one video where the guy said you can just install it, but I am almost completely out of room on my computer, which I'll get back to in just a minute, because that's going to be a problem for me if things evolve the way I'm thinking that they will. So I've seen probably another couple of hours of flight footage from all of the alpha testing stuff. And on the positive side, the trees look amazing. We knew they would if you're down at the ground. But we don't spend a lot of time on the ground because this is a flight simulator. The rivers and waterways look significantly better because they don't have that dark AI-generated line in the middle. They seem to be pretty uniform in color, so the banks look a lot better. I thought that was good. The walk-around feature is definitely cool, especially since everything looks so good on the ground. And I also thought the particle effects with the dust blowing up and everything, and the mud and stuff that gets all over the plains, particularly with bush plains, I thought that was really, really cool. But on the negative side, and unfortunately for me, this is a huge negative. I've been hoping that I would see something that would prove me wrong. I've mentioned it on every flight that I've talked about it so far, including our last one. Still looking for some good cityscapes. I saw maybe Obsidian Ant again, or maybe Two-Tone Murphy was flying over London, and it looked horrific. It was all autogen stuff, and so I don't know if they're going to add photogrammetry at the end or not, but it was all popping for the duration of his flight, flashing in and out. It was a nightmare. Looked absolutely terrible. Not that it looks that great now. And then Two-Tone Murphy for sure was flying over a city, but he was in a jet, a fighter jet, and was flying pretty high, so I couldn't really get the details. It also looked autogen. So far the cities are not impressing me, and a lot of the landscape looked a heck of a lot worse than a lot of stuff in 2020. I've seen a few spots that looked as good as 2020, but everything I've seen, and I mean everything I've seen so far as natural landscape, with the exception of the Grand Canyon, looked really bad in 2024 compared to what we have in 2020. Yeah, there's some spots in 2020 that are just horrible. One of the guys flew by Kilimanjaro. I think that was Two-Tone Murphy. That still looked horrible. But just photographic trees everywhere. I mean, it was really bad. The mountains were all rounded over. So I'm nervous. And the reason why I'm nervous, because you just say, well, if it's not great, they need a few months to smooth it out. That's fine. Just go back to 2020 for a while. The problem with that is I can't install both of them on this computer. I've got about 50 gigabytes left, and I've tried to shave off everything that I'm not using regularly, but it's just a pain in the butt to be swapping stuff in and out all the time. So if I uninstall this to install 2024, and then I have to uninstall 2024 to put this back in, that's just a huge pain in the butt. So I'm going to stick with my plan to just kind of see how it goes as everybody's kind of trying it out, see how it looks. We'll probably just keep doing flights for at least a couple weeks in 2020 until they get all that stuff sorted out. And my worst fear is that they are making this thing for stickiness for gamers, which is what the career mode would be all about. I'm sure they're going to have tons of DLC that people will keep paying for, which is great. I get it from their standpoint. But not great for what I do on this channel, because if the stuff on the ground looks horrible, that negates ever getting in there. And I'm really concerned that may be the case, so we're just going to have to see about that, I guess. So that's the only bad news I've got. And I'm sure you guys have seen the same thing. I don't know if you're looking at the ground as much as I am, but I mean, look at this. I mean, we got modders that'll make stuff look great in 2020. The natural stuff out here looks great in 2020. I'm content with this. If the plains aren't muddy and the rivers don't look perfect, that's fine. I'm not going to do career mode. A lot of the stuff has been great for developers and things like that, which is cool, because I want that community to be able to continue to thrive. But I am really nervous about that stuff on the ground. So on that note, as I mentioned in our last flight, and I'll keep mentioning it until someone takes the bait, I am really wanting to redo our logo for this channel and get a graphical animation for kind of like our intro scene. I feel like that's the only thing that is not really up to the quality I'd like to have for our channel. As I mentioned on that UK flight, I just paid someone literally like $5 or $10 on Fiverr to make that little logo we've got, because I don't even know how to do that. I barely know how to use Premiere Pro, which is what I edit all these videos on. So if any of you guys know how to do that, I will pay you for it. Love to see what you can come up with. Let's get something cool to intro all of our videos here on this channel. And you can go down in history as the guy who made, or girl, that made the logo for our channel. And I'll definitely give you some props for that. How are we tracking? We got a little ways here. One other thing I came across over the past couple weeks, as you probably know if you like Kitfoxes, is that Trent Palmer, who we can probably just go ahead and call Mr. Kitfox, is selling his Freedom Fox if he hasn't done it already. I think it was for like $230,000. And I saw a video that he uploaded where he was talking about building a unicorn of a plane. It sounds like he's going to try to build something on a Super Cub type of airframe, but he was wanting to make it really light, really powerful, and he even drove out to the place where they're going to be building it. I think it's called Legend Cubs, and it looked like he was even doing some spot welding or something, so he may be actually getting to build some parts of his plane, which would be amazing. But man, talk about a dream life. He got in a little trouble with the FAA, so I read. They've grounded him for 120 days for doing too low of a flyby. He said he was trying to check out some terrain for landing. And they said that's all fine and good, but you can't do it at 100 feet over the ground when there's people and structures down there. And I think he may even be suing the FAA over that. But all publicity is good publicity, right? Especially if you got a channel like that. So good luck, Trent. So I wonder if he'll... I'm guessing he's got some kind of partnership with Parallel 42 because his name is mentioned right here in the sim. And we even get our little sticky tag at the end. I think he's signed that where it says thanks for flying or something like that when you shut the plane down. And lastly, I wrote down a couple of notes because I'm sure if you're like me, you're probably curious how you fit within the typical profile of our channel. So let me see if I can call on the divine spirits to describe exactly who you are. I bet I can get pretty close. There's a 99% chance, if you guys don't know it already, by the way, how do I know all this stuff? You'd probably be surprised, if not a bit frightened, of what you can discover as a content creator about the people that are watching your channel. So there's a 99.9% chance that you are a male. Almost everyone that watches this channel, and probably most flight sim channels, is a male. There's also a very good chance, over 80%, that you are over the age of 30, which doesn't really surprise me because most people younger than 30 can't watch anything for more than about 30 seconds without scrolling to the next thing. So I imagine attention span would be a prerequisite to enjoy flights like this. You also probably play an instrument, and if you don't, you're probably a fan of live performances. And I'm not talking about just being able to strum a few chords on guitars. It looks like a lot of you are probably very good at playing more complicated instruments. Much like myself, except for the very good part. I'm a drummer and bass player. And I was at my sister's house last week. I haven't played the drums in 6 years. When I left the band, I just sold my stuff, and I figured that was it. I didn't want to be the old guy at the bar anymore. But they had an electronic kit at her house. Her and her boyfriend are very good musicians, and so they're like, well, why don't you hop on the kit and play, you know, to some of their originals. So I hopped on there. It was a total disaster. It's like I'd never touched a drumstick, so that fantasy of me just jumping back into that is over. But I still have my bass guitar, so maybe I'll try that. At least they're not as noisy. Well, they can be as noisy. And you probably also love animals. A lot of you love to travel, and most of you, if you're from America, really love America. Go USA. Hopefully we'll still be around in a month. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so we're going to need to start looking for Widow's Peak here in just a minute. And I don't know if this is a real place or not. It may be fictitious since, unlike the place we left from, you can't select it in the sim. And I kind of tried searching around for it. I didn't find any bookmarks or any information about it. I'm just watching our map over there so we can try to get in the general vicinity here. So in the absence of any other details, I will read to you what Parallel 42 has on their site because there's some information that I found helpful, and you will too if you're coming out here. So first, the generalizations. It says, located 25 miles north of Circle B Ranch, Widow's Peak delivers an unforgettable off-field landing experience near Mount Wagner. Not sure where that is, but I bet we're near it. We need to come this way a little bit more. Pilots must adapt to unpredictable winds that shift throughout the day. I don't know what our winds are because little NavMap's not working, so we'll just kind of, I guess, see how that feels. Adding extra difficulty to every approach, and it says, think Sharktooth Ridge, which is that one I just loved from that California trip we took. And then it says, this is a dangerous strip, exclamation point. Hug the rocks, use the wind, kick the rudder to avoid going over the edge. And I could tell from the thumbnail that there were definitely a lot of cliffs right next to the runways. It says, a hiking path leads to a secluded helipad and cabin offering a quiet retreat. Nearby fishing pools and natural springs provide areas to take in the scenery while surrounding terrain invites endless bush plane or juice goose adventures. Cool. So there's two main strips that crisscross the top of the mountain area, it looks like, and it says there's also a third strip somewhere about a mile to the southeast, which I guess would probably be kind of close to where we are now. But I don't know how close we really are at this point, so I'm not seeing anything from here. Boy, look how good this landscape looks. Really great. You see off in the distance there it looks darker. When I was looking at the satellite map, there is a map seam there, and it does get a bit darker, but judging by where we're landing, I think we're going to be avoiding that, and you probably wouldn't have noticed it if I didn't mention it. But if you're coming over from that direction, it is a little bit darker over there because of the satellite imagery. So again, there should be some waterfalls, some great looking cliffs, and it looks like there's some cliffs over there, so that must be it. Right over here, see that? Let's check it out. So we'll definitely do a fly around. I don't even know. I would get just down the MEDAR, but I'd have to pause this and go do that, so we're just going to go by feel. But when I got in the sim, it said that the winds on the ground were 2 knots. So hopefully it's not too much worse up here. We're going to find out. Looking for that other strip anywhere. Yeah, you could definitely take that juice goose out there and go crazy. Let's get that pointer out of there. It'll disappear in a minute. Alright, let's see if we can spot the strips. Well, that doesn't really look exactly like the thumb. That might be like an ancillary thing off in the distance, because it was a lot greener than that, unless the terrain has just changed for the seasons. We're getting a little stuttering now, so there's probably some animation down there. What a beautiful, beautiful area. Really nice. Very good job selecting this. Ooh, some smoke. See it right above the glare shield? You could probably land a plane there. Looks a little bit hilly. Alright, there's the strips over on that next plateau there. See it? Okay, so we got one at this heading, which looks very short. Let's just kind of do a low flyby of that and see how that looks coming over that ridge there. Alright, we got a Jeep and a couple tents down there. We'll fly around in the drone and check all this stuff out too. Okay, so I'm intentionally going to do a go around here just to see how this kind of looks for this approach. We're going way too fast. So the challenge here is coming over those trees on this side of it, because that looks like a pretty good dip, and that is really short. And if you don't stop in time, you're going over that edge for sure. So I think we'll probably try coming up from what I guess would be the south. Look at those rocks. Oh man, look at this side of it. Oh yeah, and that other one's a lot longer too. Got some planes parked down there. Look at this stuff. Wow. Yeah, nice. Real nice. Well, let's just try that short one because it'll be more of a challenge first, and we can always go around and come up from the south if we need to. So the helipad should be down here. Let me trim up some because we're falling out of the sky. We'll see if we can see the helipad and spot the waterfalls and all that stuff. Judging by these trees here, I'm guessing they modded this up because those look slightly different. Is that a helipad there? My eyes are watering because they're so wide open. We're getting some stuttering now, so this must be where the animation is. There's the H. That's the helipad right there. Watching my airspeed, watching my vertical speed. What are these things sticking up in the air here? They look like poles sticking up, see that? Yep, there's a little H there, see it? That looks amazing. Getting a little bit of popping, and there's the waterfall. I bet that's the waterfall right there, in a little teats up boat. We'll go check all that out. Very nice. That looks gorgeous. That looks a lot like Shark Ridge, actually, or Sharktooth Ridge. So if you think about it, comparing the pricing to... And by the way, they made a bundle, which I was not aware of when I got all those, literally for every strip we checked out in that flight, which probably would have saved me some money. I just wasn't aware of the bundle. So if you like that flight, which we recorded a couple months ago, you can get all of those in a bundle if you weren't already aware of that. So what we'll do is come over here, check out what was up with that smoke and those tents, And we'll try that little shorty there, which I don't think we're going to be able to. I wouldn't do it for recording. I'll try it when we're not recording, because I can definitely see myself crashing on that. Oh no, look, one spot of photographic trees. Of course, in the whole trip, it's right here. Well, doggone it. That's alright, everything else has been flawless. Okay, we got a little cabin there, and what is that, a truck next to it? Appears to be. Yeah. A little lookout area. Maybe he's doing air traffic control from there. And then we got our smoke up here. Let's see what's going on up here. I didn't see that other strip, unless it's just the top of one of these mountains here. I didn't see a picture of it, so I don't know if it's more clearly marked or not. Yeah, everybody's kind of hanging out down there, doing their thing. We'll go check them out. Whew, this is going to be a tough one. Alright, I'm going to just prepare to do a go-around. Let's get the flaps all the way out. Feet on pedals. We're just going to dive in here. Yeah, we're going to be picking up too much airspeed. The wind is obviously not bad at all. We're not really getting blown around. Hopefully, I mean, it might just be a headwind here. We may get knocked off course when we're trying to come on that other one. Yeah, I just don't... We could probably get down there, but I don't feel great about it, and I really don't want to wreck on a recorded flight, so we'll come around from the other side. Yeah, I think we could have done that. Yeah, we could have done it. Alright, go around. Bring the flaps up one notch. Look at this. Even right up close, those rocks look incredible. Just incredible. Great job, guys. Parallel 42 and Jeppesen is a match made in heaven. Love it. We'll get a little bit lower past this thing here. So, it looked like that was a pretty steep climb coming up that runway. So we'll kind of shoot up and power up as we're coming in for that approach. Yeah, just a little bit of stuttering around here, but I did have everything turned up pretty high. I probably could have backed it off some and there would not have been a noticeable difference. I can't wait to fly down there with the drone and check that out. Let's see if we can pull it off. Okay, full flaps again, and I've lost the runway. So I don't think it's in this strip here. I think we got to come around that first stand of trees there. Yeah. Alright, well, this will be very interesting. And I need to get pretty slow, because this thing will pick up some speed even with full flaps. Yeah, it's windy here. Oh boy. Well, that's what we wanted. Landing challenge. We're going to get it. Boy, that is a very uphill grade. That's going to help, I think. Yeah, it's windy here. Well, I'm going to try it. I'm committing. I'm committing. And those trees are awfully close to the end of that runway. Let's see if we can get our airspeed down to about 50 knots. Boy, this is going to be so dicey. And we're going to lose airspeed as we pull up in the last second here. Oh boy. Oh boy. My palms are sweating. My feet are sweating. My head is sweating. Alright. And... Alright. We took off again a little bit, but we made it. We're down, we're down, we're down, we're down. Whoa. Oh, so cool. So cool. Awesome. Well, I don't even want to try moving anywhere because I don't know what's collidable and what will wreck the plane, so we'll just shut it off right here and hop out and check everything out. Parking brake on. Throttle off. And we'll just cut the fuel off. Oh my god, I am sweating. I am sweating so hard. That was amazing. Awesome. Oh gosh. Okay, let's grab this thing and hop out real quick. See what's going on down by that stream. See you, chat. Take care of that thing while we're down here. Look at that stuff. What a skill. These guys in Clifford Designs have just figured that out really, really great. I love the modder community. This is going to take a little while, so I'm going to pick up the pace with our drone speed here. See if we can jerk ourselves around so we get down here. Alright, get down to ground level. Yep, there's that H. That's the helipad. Boy, that would be a tricky landing spot too for that thing. Those things sticking up were just naked trees there. Oh, look at that tiny little waterfall there. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh, and there's swimmers. You've got to be kidding me. Well, there's the skinny dippers. We didn't see in that last one. Yeah, I bet they're naked too. They're probably the ones that hammered down all that beer and then flew out here. Look at that. That is amazing. That is so cool. Well, there's two firsts for us, guys. The girl just went underwater. I don't even want to know what they're doing. Let's get out of here. We got the sprinkler system that was animated, and now we got that. Oh, that's a tent. That's not a boat. Look at this. Look at this. unbelievable. And do we even have some purple tree trunks? We do. How many times are you going to find purple tree trunks? I wonder why they're purple. What's this guy doing? Oh, now it's going too fast. Oh, we got all kinds of stuff up here. All right, let me slow this down again. We got to check this out. We got to spend a little time checking all this out. Slow down some more, slow down some more. Why is it not slowing down? Maybe I need to click on this. Hold on a minute. We need to get this thing under control. I can't do it. Well, so there we go. Okay, this guy's fishing. Look at this. What is that, a deer stand right next to the cabin? Pine Knoll Cabin. Oh, they got an animated fire in there. You gotta be kidding me. Look at this. If we can go in this, please tell me we can go in. Oh, no, we can't go in. Was that someone was running around over here? Oh, no, it wasn't. They said there's a bear out here somewhere, too. Guys, you have outdone yourselves. This is just unbelievable. There's some weird things going on here. It's probably the modded tree. See that pixelation there? Is there anything inside the deer stand? Oh, it's just moving too fast, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not going to keep messing with it because it's not dialing itself back. All right, the only other thing I want to check out is... Where was that other ridge? Over here. Not too far away. We'll see what's going on with these guys. And then wrap it up. Okay, so there was a cabin out here somewhere first. There it is. There's all trees that are photographic. We'll ignore those. Oh, the guy's got a headset on. Yeah, he's calling air traffic. Good for you, man. Well, keep it safe. You always got to look for Easter eggs with these guys. You never know what you're going to find. And let's see what's going on up here. Oh, dude, come on. Oh, gosh. Yeah, these are the kind of people I would not want to spend a lot of time with. Bunch of yuppies. Dude, nobody's impressed. Well, you lucked out. You married up, pal. Way to go. Well, that's cool. Very, very cool. Man, I got to tell you, just thinking about, you know, what I've typically spent on add-ons. Yeah, I mean, it's not a whole city, but just fly over cities once. I mean, this is fun. I'd come back to a place like this, and I'm definitely going to come back and try to fly into that short strip. I'm just looking for that other one that's supposedly down here somewhere. But a mile is a long way to go, so I might have to fly around and check that out. Let's just go up real high real quick, see if we can see it. Oh, that's got to be it right there. Look at that. See that on top of that ridge? Let's just check it out, just in case you want to come down here and look at it. So you could probably take your Juice Goose all the way over here if you wanted to. Look at all this open space. All of it just looks gorgeous. See that little winding road over there in the distance? Well, I'll tell you what. If this is a strip, landing on this would have been a heck of a lot easier than the one we came in on. As long as you didn't drive off the edge. All right, so that's that. Well, I won't go all the way back to the plane because it'll take forever, but that was it, guys. That's cool. I'm going to go ahead and give those two a full-throated endorsement. So that's the Circle B and Widow's Peak. Really, really awesome. Great job, P42. You really nailed it. I would like to say I learned a lot of things, but at least we learned about Cokeville. That was interesting, but I had an absolute blast as always, and I cannot wait to see you all again in the skies later.